and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship in insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by The Good Feet Store. The Good Feet Store, helping people get back to the life they love without their feet getting in the way. Start your journey today at goodfeet.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by Alabama softball second baseman Callie Heflin.
This experience here has been everything that I can imagine, especially coming from Michigan. Like, I knew living in Michigan for 18 years, like, I was ready to go down south. Like, I wanted to go to Kentucky South. I wanted to be warm. I didn't want to deal with as much snow because we get snow all the time. Like, right now, there's a snowstorm right now happening in Michigan, like 10 inches of snow. And, like, I knew I didn't want to go, and I didn't care what level it was. I didn't care what division it was. I just wanted to go explore something different. And then when I stepped foot on this campus, I was like, this is where it's at. Like, there's so much family atmosphere here. Like, you create your best friends. You create your memories. Like, you get everything in between that you ever wanted. And so it's just definitely been something super special that I've admired, and I can't even think of anything different else that I would have wanted.
I'll have more in a moment.
This is Christian Miller for the Good Feet Store. I know from playing football at Alabama and in the NFL that if you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, it can be a huge challenge. Good Feet Store is designed to personally fit you with arch supports that alleviate and even eliminate your pain altogether. Try them before you buy them. They're in your free, no obligation, personalized fitting, and you can wear them home the same day. So if you're looking to improve your game, the Good Feet Store has you covered. Stop in for a free, personalized fitting today. Roll to victory at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com. Roll Tide.
Join us tonight for Crimson Tide women's basketball on the road at Tennessee. Coverage from Knoxville will start at 5:15 with tip-off at 5:30 from the Food City Center. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we're off, we're running. Another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond coming up here in just a couple minutes. North Alabama head basketball coach Tony Pjol is going to join the show. Don't look now, but the Lions are atop the ASUN Conference, and they have a monster game tonight against former UAH head coach and current Lipscomb head basketball coach Lennie Acuff. By the way, Lennie Acuff going to join the show as well in the second hour. So there you go. We got a little bit of college hoops going on, a lot of college basketball going on, high school basketball going on in earnest today as well. Huntsville High will play at 10:45 this morning against Hoover. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone will have that game for you. That is what Drew DeArmond is on this morning, joining us there. But before we get Coach Pjol in, Drew, last night, SEC basketball as well. For the second straight game, Alabama starts off slow, never recovers as they fall to Missouri 110-98.
Yeah, it was a horrendous defensive performance. The worst half of the season in the in the opening half when it was 59-46 at halftime. Felt like they were down 30. But they were only down by 13 because they actually played well offensively. They really played well offensively. sans some live ball turnovers the entire game. When you score 98 points, it should be good enough to win a basketball game. They did not defend at all. They just were not ready to play. Missouri came out and was the aggressor, much like Auburn was. Alabama has not led at all for the last 2 basketball games. We've already talked about how tough this 7-game stretch was going to be, and it was just not a great effort at all defensively. They was really, really non-existent, to be honest with you. And credit to Missouri and Dennis Gates for the way they came out and played. And those guys shot the basketball extremely well. Mark Mitchell had the game of his career with 30-plus. He's a Duke transfer, and he's not a great shooter, but he made a 3 early last night, and the biggest thing he did was post up and just absolutely destroy Cliff Amore, Grant Nelson. It didn't really matter who guarded him. They couldn't stop him. And Alabama's interior defense and rebounding was terrible. They got what they deserved. They got drilled, and we'll see how they respond, against Kentucky. It's the first time they've lost back-to-back games all year. But it doesn't get any easier because every team they play going forward, all 5 of them are really good offensively. So they're going to have to dig in and defend, they're going to get into the NCAA tournament, but they're going to continue to fall down the seed line if they do not snap out of it. Sears had a great game last night. I believe he ended up with 35. He shot the ball really well after a slow start, but honestly, there wasn't very many bright spots, and they did change up the starting lineups. I thought they might. LeBaron Philon did start, but still, it didn't matter much. They didn't play very well against Mizzou. But to Mizzou's credit, I mean, they're ranked in the top 15 in the country. Alabama didn't lose to a bad basketball team. Right. They lost to a team that's 17-1 at home and is going to be a top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. But, again, you want to stop the bleeding and get some momentum going in your favor heading into Nashville and then the NCAA tournament. I mean, I know they didn't have a ton last year, and they were able to get the right kind of draw and get hot. But, I mean, this team's goals are – we know what they are. They want to go to the Final Four again. They want to compete for a national championship. And when you can't guard a lamppost, that's not going to happen.
We'll talk more about SEC action last night, Alabama and Auburn. Auburn gets a home win over Arkansas. We'll talk about that coming up later here in the first hour. We'll hear from Nate Oates, and we'll hear from Bruce Pearl.
Probably going to be a little bit brief from Nate Oates. Was trying to follow that last night. I think somebody pulled the fire alarm over.
They did towards the end, and Nate Oates saying, hey, look, they've been on fire all night.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Speaking of on fire, right now the North Alabama Lions or UNA Lions are on fire in the ASUN Conference. They got to win. We mentioned it in yesterday's show that they got to win on Tuesday and against West Georgia, completed the season sweep. And we talked about how big of a game that was and how big of a game it was for Jakari Lane. Lane broke the Division I scoring record with 1,355 points. He also broke his own Division I school record for assists in a season. He has 123. The old record was 122, which was his. So he broke that. But they are atop the ASUN Conference, Drew, and they are looking fantastic.
Yes, they are. They're 12-3 right now in the league. They've got these last 3 games remaining before they go into the conference tournament in the ASUN. We know it's a league where it's a one-bid league, but it's about how you're playing now, and they've been very consistent, and they're playing very hot basketball. We love Jakari Lane. He's one of my all-time favorites. I mean, they might need to retire the Player of the Week award in some ways in the ASUN, and especially the Bojangles Player of the Week for UNA. He's been dominant, all season for them. But they've got a chance to sweep Lipscomb. They won 74-64 January 23rd, and now tonight over at Allen Arena, they will take on Lennie Acuff's Lipscomb Bison, and we're honored to be joined on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline by 7th-year head coach Tony Pjol, who has done an amazing job transitioning this program from Division II to Division I, and now they're eligible to go into March Madness if they can win this conference tournament, and they want to hang a banner and win the regular season championship, all very attainable. and it's an honor to be joined by Coach right now this morning. Coach, you're with Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Morning, Coach. Thanks for waking up with us on game day. We appreciate this.
Are you kidding me? Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, sir. And we got to say, I can't help but smile when I look at your roster, Coach. I know you're a big fan of Lee High School. You've got Jakari Lane, who is arguably the best player in the ASUN Conference, and you got Tay Fields, a transfer in your program that's had a big impact. He's all about winning, and I got to tell you, Coach, Scott and I make our living talking, but Tay's pretty good too. We had him on the show when he was at Lee, when he had transferred to Lee High School from over in Opelika, and that kid's pretty good in front of a microphone. I don't know what he wants to do after he gets through playing for you and probably playing professional hoops, but he's pretty good.
Hey, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in my career was not bringing Tay as a freshman out of high school. Man, he's been such an impact for us. And you're absolutely right, not just with his game, but his leadership skills, man. You're absolutely right about him being able to, sit in front of a microphone and speak. He's just extremely talented human being. And man, we're just, again, very, extremely blessed to have a guy like Tate Fields on our team.
Let's talk about, before we delve into the whole team and the season and everything, Jakari Lane just keeps getting better and better and better every season, every game. Just, Coach, when you watch him now, I mean, is it kind of like you just give him the basketball and tell him, go do what you got to do, get our guys in the right spot, but do what you have to do?
Well, I don't have to share this with you guys. You guys know it probably better than I do because you got to watch him, kind of grow up in the Huntsville area. But the one thing I remember when we first recruited Jakari, man, extremely under-recruited in my opinion. I thought just the way that he ran the team, the way that he can finish around the rim with size, and the way that again his leadership qualities. I thought, man, he is like the prototypical point guard. What he's done for us is, as a freshman, came in and grabbed an opportunity early and really showed how he can impact the game. So, yeah, you're right. As years gone on, one of the things that was a knock with him early on was his shooting ability from behind the three-point line. And, he's kept all the other intangibles that he brings to the table, the way that he sees the floor, making the game easier for his teammates. But, man, now he's stretching the defense with the way that he can now shoot from behind the three-point line. So I've just been very pleased with how he has progressed and the way he's progressed. He's done it like a man, right? He comes in every day and he comes in and puts on rolls up his sleeves and goes to work.
And we're talking to Coach Tony Pjol, head basketball coach of the UNA Lions. Coach, talk about the season thus far. Outstanding 1-12-3 in the ASUN, a very good mid-major conference. You guys have gotten better each and every year you've been there as a program. What's been the key thus far for this group to have ascended to the top of the standings and now have a chance? And it's what you work for as a coach, to hang a banner as a regular season champion, and then of course put yourself in position to win the league tournament.
Well, guys, I can tell you one thing. I've never been part of a transitioning team,
Right.
But you obviously, man, the work that needs to be put into that, not only just making the transition from D2 to D1, it's also the roster buildup and all that. And I'll tell you, man, ever since we've kind of broken away from the probationary first 4 years of transitioning, the key for us, in my opinion, and why I think we're seeing success here at this stage is one of the biggest competitive advantages, I believe, and especially in today's game, is if you could keep a core group of guys in your program that understand the culture, understand what the day-to-day work looks like, and how they can now translate that to the newcomers. Because you all know this, I don't have to tell you this, in today's world of transfer portal and NIL, man, some of these rosters are just being revamped every year.
Yeah.
Man, having that core group of guys like a Will Susi, a Jakari Lane coming back, Daniel Ortiz, who left to UAB and then came back, having Dallas Howell, even though he went down this year with a season-ending injury, man, he's at every practice, he's at every game, and he's always in the guys' ears, right? So I just believe that that's one of the reasons why I think we're having success is we've got a good core of guys that have stuck around and now are having this success.
How hard was it to keep this core group together? How hard did you have to fight to keep it together?
Well, you know what? To me, I think, I'll be honest with you. I've got a lot of friends in this profession. I guarantee you, I've got some of them that are calling me up and saying, man, I don't see you out on the road. And one of the reasons why I don't get out on the road much is because I spend time with our guys here at home. It doesn't guarantee you that they're going to stay, but I think you have to recruit your own players probably harder as a head coach than you have to recruit newcomers. Again, it's a balance, right? But I think you have to spend time with the guys in your program. And again, I'm going to say, it doesn't guarantee you anything. But I believe a guy like Daniel Ortiz, who left to UAB, came back because of that. I think it was because of the relationship. So, that it's difficult, but I think it's doable, and you just got to put in the time.
And then, Coach, talk about putting in time. You certainly had success on January the 23rd and at home in Florence against a really good Lipscomb squad that's right on your heels, a 74-64 win. Teams continue to evolve and get better, especially if you stay atop the lead standings. Talk about the rematch and what you've seen from Lipscomb since you guys played them just about a month ago.
Well, man, they're a very elite team, man. I don't need to tell you guys that. You already know. First of all, the type of the caliber of coaching that they have, right? Coach Acuff does an unbelievable job, and you can see it in the consistency that he's had every year that he's been there. Every year, always in the top of the league. His consistency is pretty amazing. And then the players that they have in the program, right? You want to talk about guys that have stuck around. You've got Pruitt there. You've got Ignacevic. You got main culture guys that have been there. So the recipe is kind of clear, right? We were fortunate. We just happened to just play a little bit better than them at home. So, our matchup today is I've told the guys, this is the most important game of the year because it's the next one on the schedule. And that's the way we do every single game that we play. We don't look ahead, and we learn from what we just came from. So our focus today is strictly on Lipscomb, and I think it's going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah, a huge game with Lipscomb because, right now you guys have that game edge over Eastern Kentucky and Lipscomb. Eastern Kentucky did get the best of Lipscomb earlier this week, but a win tonight would leave you guys still atop the standings with only 2 conference games left. So, this is, if you're chasing that regular season prize, Coach, this is a big one.
Oh, there's no question about it, right? But for us, like I mentioned earlier, for us right now, our attention is strictly with Lipscomb. The regular season prize is there, right? But we still got games to play, and right now the one in front of us is the most important one. And we're gonna have I don't have to tell you the challenges that not only the challenges of playing a Lennie Acuff team, but also playing in Allen Arena, right? It's just a tough place to play. So for us right now, again, our attention is strictly with them.
Well,
and then.
Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
Oh, okay. Coach Pjol, I was just going to say, in your mind, as you've watched Lipscomb and you've seen your team continue to improve, and, of course, Jakari and Tay and those guys playing so well, what is going to be the keys? I was watching Alabama last night. So much of the key on the road is getting off to a good start and trying to take the crowd out of it a little bit and establish yourself and your offensive and defensive rhythm. But talk about the keys to potentially getting a big road win, as you said, in a tough place to play.
Well, I can tell you right now, from an offensive standpoint, one of the things that I think Coach Acuff does a great job is the way he changes defenses and the way he kind of adjusts not only during the game but after halftime, right? He makes adjustments that really gets you thinking. So our guys need to be locked in on making sure that from an offensive standpoint, we can't get confused or stall against whatever defense they throw at us. We gotta play. We gotta have ball movement and player movement, and make sure that we're just attacking the paint like we're really good at. From a defensive standpoint, and if you're not on edge against this offense, I'm telling you right now, they'll make you look really, really bad. Our guys got to. This is a game that I think the game will be won. If it's won by us, it'll be on the defensive end of the floor. So our focus now kind of turns to, the way that they, again, unselfishly play, the way that they manipulate defenses, and the way that they cut to the rim or they pop back for threes. It is one of the most efficient offenses that you'll see, not only in the A-Sun, but in the country.
Coach Tony Pjol, North Alabama head basketball coach, kind enough to join us. And Coach, one of the things about the A-Sun Conference is, and I've seen the videos of you, and I've heard your post-game comments praising your student section at times for being, showing up in force. And one of the good things about the A-Sun Conference is they play their conference tournament on campus sites. And so you guys, if this, you finish up these last 3 games, could be at home for the entire A-Sun Conference if it all pulls out for the conference tournament. And that would be huge.
100%. And I can't tell you the gratitude that I feel for, our student section of the student athletes that fill that up, but also our community guys. Ticket sales have kind of they've been trajectorying in the right direction for the last 3 years, and that's just I think a product of a lot of work that's been put in by people in our administration, but more importantly, the players. The way the players have come out and the way that they play, I think it inspires people in our community. It inspires people in our campus to come out and support them. So, man, an enormous amount of gratitude that we have. I think all the players tell you the same thing, man. When that place is buzzing, the energy in the building, it just takes our guys to a different level. And there again, just an enormous amount of gratitude for everybody that has come out and supported our guys at CBNS Bank Arena this year.
Well, Coach, it's been an amazing run so far. Good luck tonight. And I guess before we let you go, we don't want you to give away the game plan, of course, but for your team, give us 2 or 3 keys to getting a big road win in Allen Arena and taking another major step forward to potentially getting that number 1 seed and home court advantage in the A-Sun Conference tournament that we've been speaking about.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of simple, to be honest with you. In my opinion, I think from an offensive standpoint, we have to play extremely clean. And we got to make sure that if we can, man, we got to get extra possessions. We got to do our job from an offensive rebounding standpoint. I think we've been doing a really good job this year of that. So paint touches and playing clean are going to be extremely important. And then from a defensive standpoint, you got to be on edge for 40 minutes. This is a team, again, from an offensive standpoint, is extremely efficient. So our guys got to be locked in and make sure that they're not playing with pace and space. We got to make sure that we're making it difficult for them. You're not going to stop them, so you just got to make it everything difficult. So that's going to be the game plan for tonight.
Thanks, Coach, and best of luck tonight on the road there in the Music City.
Absolutely, always great talking UNA Lion Hoops with you, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on the show.
All right, thanks. Tony Pjol, kind enough to join us in the Music City tonight. That's good, isn't it?
I mean, big time. I mean, they've got Lipscomb, and then they got some dude named Shulman at Central Arkansas, and then Queens.
Yesterday, and he told me that his team's only getting worse.
Why am I not surprised? Well, Alabama's getting worse right now. They better get their heads out of their asses, or they're not going to be on the 1, 2, or 3 line.
Well, speaking of that, we'll hear from Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl after this time out. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck in the 100 block of Crimson Rose. That's off Old Highway 20. They were showing it as an injury type, but they haven't assigned a HIMSA unit to it. Got one on Mooresville Road in Limestone County at Bosick. Got a vehicle that ran off in the water there. The driver is out of the vehicle, though. Do you need help with projects, leave coverage, or staff positions? Snelling can help with admin, business support, and accounting. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
So when we came out of the timeout, Coach Hedge had initially called a man play, and they ended up faking a zone. So the whole bench was yelling zone, zone, zone. So we tried to switch the play last second. We ended up getting confused. So Tommy swung it to me, and I initially was like, all right, I'm going to try and get to the rim right here. We're only down 2. We don't need a 3. And he flipped his hips real hard, and I crossed it back, and as soon as I let it go, I knew it was in.
Campbell to plug it in. 81-79 Union. Inbounds it goes. Dribbling it out from Tommy Murr. Swings it over to Campbell. Campbell on the wing for the lead. Oh, my God! Campbell! It's a 3! Into the front court for the win! No good! No good! No good! Blake Campbell with some onions from Jackson, Tennessee!
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Buckhorn Youth Sports was created in 2018 to provide kids in our community the ability to compete at every sport possible. We offer football, flag and tackle, cheer, volleyball, wrestling, basketball, baseball, and softball. You can find us on Facebook at Buckhorn Youth Sports, where we prepare the future. Buckhorn Youth Sports is a proud supporter of Buckhorn High School football. Go Bucks!
We are your home for March Madness.
For a second straight year, sets over, and it's on to the second round.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What do you want to do with your life?
All right, welcome back. Drew DeArmond, Scott Tyson. I'm here in studio. Drew is in, I don't know, where are you at?
Jacksonville, Alabama, getting ready for the Huntsville Crimson Panthers to take on the greatest basketball team that God ever created, the Hoover Bucks.
Well, so I'm kind of I'm kind of upset that y'all are playing at 10:45.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because at 10:45 in the morning, the Big Chief is not open for lunch.
Dadgummit, you know, we practiced at Glencoe High School yesterday, and it was 0.5 miles away from the Big Chief. And we decided we were going back to the arena to watch Madison Academy's ladies and boys play, so we didn't stop for lunch. That's the only time I wish I had driven myself, so I could have gone to the Big Chief.
Well, it wouldn't be so bad.
Right.
If Tokyo and I didn't have to go to.
Oh, yeah, you guys have to. I was telling Coach Swears about this. You guys got to spread the wings and go to Auburn Montgomery for UAH's continued dominance of the Gulf South Conference.
And the one part the bad part is
it's in the opposite direction, isn't it?
We don't have the Spirit Coach jet to take us from Jacksonville to Auburn Montgomery.
Uh-oh.
So otherwise I would stop at Glencoe, get some Big Chief, and then go. But I don't have that ability. Right. So I always look forward to this when we do this regional basketball because we can stop at the Big Chief.
Right.
Not going to be able to stop at the Big Chief.
Because you guys got to hightail it, man.
Because we got to go down to Auburn Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like 10:40. I mean, I was like, could we not have played this at noon? I would have been fine.
Well, you know, it would have been a 1:30 if it wasn't at 10:45, I believe.
Okay, I would take
1:15, somewhere around there. I know the way they bracket these championship games.
Yeah,
so,
give it plenty of time.
Yeah, and you guys, it would have been a little tighter getting to AUM, but with Steve driving, you ain't got to worry about it.
Well, I'll have the foot on the pedal today. We're taking we're taking the Kia.
Oh, so Arthur stepped up for you, or no, your car. Well,
yeah,
your car that you bought from Arthur.
We're taking. Well, Arthur did step up, so to speak, but we are taking a University Kia down there too. So yes,
it might be 5 to 10 miles per hour slower.
Yes. So I'm about as angry. I mean, as Nate Oates was, and we're not going to be able to get to it because we got to get a break.
Oh, you're saying that you broke something? Because he broke his clipboard last night in a million pieces.
I saw that. Well, you would too.
John Calipari did as well. It was break your clipboard night because Auburn kicks your ass, and then they always find a way to win, even though it wasn't a pretty game from Auburn.
Yeah, 67-70. Yeah, Bruce Pearl said after the game it was not pretty.
Yeah, it was 67-60, but and whatnot. But Auburn won the game. That's all that matters. And Calipari was frustrated. His team had a lead with 3 minutes and a little change to go. But as always, Auburn stepped up. They got those vets that know how to make plays. Chad Baker-Mazzara did his job down the stretch. Jonai Broom got a huge tip in, and they found a way to win. That's what Auburn's done all year. And they really, as Bruce Pearl said last night, they didn't let their offensive struggles affect them on the defensive end of the floor.
All right, 7:30. I got to get a break in. Now, when I come back, Joe Hunk's going to sit in for me, and he'll take you all the way till 9, but you're going to leave at 8:30.
Yep.
So, I don't know. All I know is
going to be an extra – it's going to be a 2.5-hour blitz show
not even
today,
because we're taking over at 10:30.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. So it'll be a different kind of 2 hours. It'll be from 8:30 to 10:30, you could say, for the blitz. And then the A team takes over, as Hannibal Smith would say, to do this Huntsville High, Hoover, gargantuan Armageddon type matchup. No pain today. No pain. That is the theme.
You want this one, don't you?
Worse than any basketball game I have ever been a part of. I already said it last night. I don't care that Alabama lost. They'll be fine. It's the Hoover Bucks today. That's what it's about. Taking out the Bucks. Let's go, Big Red.
All right, you're fired up. I'll see you down there in a little bit. We're getting ready to leave now, so we'll see you in a couple hours.
Friend.
All right, we'll see you. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, new people in the chair.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Going to be cold across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 20s. We're dropping into the mid-teens as we head into the overnight early Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. We're going to see a little bit of improvement across the Tennessee Valley, but it is still going to be cold. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 30s, dropping into the low and mid 20s as we head into Saturday morning. A partly sunny sky Saturday afternoon. Still going to be below average across the Tennessee Valley, but continued improvement. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Had a no-injury wreck in the 100 block of Crimson Rose. That's off Old Highway 20. One with an injury on Mooresville Road in Limestone County at Bosick. Had a vehicle run off into the river there, or the creek. Was in the water. The driver was able to get out, though, and is okay. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan. That is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Been thinking about what kind of truck you need to pull that big boat or shiny Airstream Classic? I'd like to invite you to feel the torque of an F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It combines the forces of gas and electric power for over 11,000 pounds of towing muscle. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, where you can test drive over 200 new F-150s. And you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on a 24 XLT 4x4 with the Power Boost engine. Save over $13,000 on F-150 today. On your way to a growing family or already have one? Then a Woody Anderson Ford Expedition is your ticket to ride. Save up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 24 Expedition at Woody Anderson Ford. $12,000 off Expedition. And there's more too. Get up to $8,000 off MSRP on the Agile and Sporty Escape ST line. And with a versatile 2024 Edge, you're looking at up to $10,000 off MSRP only at Woody Anderson Ford. Bring on the savings. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Call to the bullpen is what we just made. Scott and Steve Moulton are on their way to Jack State, which is where Drew is also going to be heading here in about an hour from right now, as everybody is getting ready for Huntsville and Hoover. Tip-off scheduled to be around 10:45-ish. is what it is, at least at the moment. That's all depending on other games and all of that. So make sure that you keep listening. We'll keep you updated because they are going to be broadcasting live from Jack State for the matchup. I am Joe Hunk filling in for Scott, and I am half asleep. I need what Drew's on. Drew, what are you on this morning? I need whatever you are on because you are hyped up and you're ready to roll. And
I'm on adrenaline. I've had no caffeine. I've had water and crackers. And I'm just saying I slept well, but I'll just tell you, I've been ready for this game since basically the season started. Alabama, they had to took one on the chin last night, but this game right here, the build up for it. And the interesting part, there is a history. The last 2 years before this season, Huntsville and Hoover played in the regular season. 2 years ago when our group was sophomores, Hoover spanked us pretty good over there. We spanked them last year in December. Didn't get a chance to play them for a state title. Enterprise had some other things to do with that, with Brett Harrelson, their outstanding program. But Hoover's won the last two 7A state titles. They're 32-0, ranked number 4 in the country. Huntsville 32-1, ranked number 21. And Joe, if it's any indication, the crowds we've seen over there, I mean, you know how close we are to Spring Garden. I know they're 2 hours away. But we've got a very good relationship with that school. It was absolutely sold out for Eider and Spring Garden, and the entire Sand Mountain community came out to watch and stayed there. The Pisgah folks, the Eider folks, everybody, North Sand Mountain. And we've been hearing from people coming all the way from Georgia, from the Atlanta area to see this game. We're anticipating a huge crowd. And a great environment, and it's two heavyweights that have earned their way to this point. And now the Crimson Panthers, who are having the best season they've ever had, even better than a year ago, if they can take this step today, they'll have a chance to compete for a state title again. But I know you're a huge wrestling guy.
Yes.
Everybody wishes that these two teams were on the opposite side of the bracket, and this would have been the state championship game. But it's not. It's an Elite Eight matchup. But if Huntsville is going to win a state championship, it's the old Ric Flairism. To be the man, you got to beat the man at some point. And it happens today at 10:45, and Huntsville gets a chance to measure themselves again against the Hoover Bucks.
Well, it's if we're going with the wrestling term, it's WrestleMania season. We're all building up, obviously, if you're a wrestling fan, to WrestleMania in Las Vegas. This is like Stone Cold versus The Rock. Like,
when I was a kid, and Joe, you weren't born, but this was the build up. I followed wrestling when I was growing up. This was the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, no, I was alive for that one, and I remember it was like you were either Team Hogan or you were Team Warrior, and it was one of the two. And it's the same way with like Austin and Rock. It's like you're one or the other. Which side are you on the fence with this one? And I think that it's the matchup we wanted. We've been waiting for, and especially like with a lot of us that have been around the Huntsville program, you've been working for it for the time that you have. We knew that these two were going to hit on the same court at some point in time. We just didn't know. We knew that if this was the last moment that it could possibly happen because of the way that the bracket was designed. And that's going to be something we're going to talk on the Blitz about, because I know head coaches have talked about wanting to change the bracket and the way that teams are seated and all that. But let's get to the phone lines, 256-576-4977, as we keep going on Talking Ball. Steeler Mike, welcome into the show. How's it going, sir?
What's going on, man? How we doing this morning, this nice warm morning?
Oh, it is beautiful. It is snowing, and the Parkway's open. I found that out. Parkway's open.
Thank goodness, Steven. Scott got to get there, brother.
Hey, I'm on the way to Decatur, and it's just flurry. It's just nasty out here. But anyway, two things, Drew. I wanted to see if you put a betting line, if you had to put a line on this thing, Hoover Huntsville today, see what you thought. And the other thing, and I'll let you guys go. Only in the South would we compare a heavyweight high school basketball game. Not Ali Frazier, not Yankees Red Sox, not Alba Armour. Stone Cold 360 in the Rock. You might be a redneck. I love it, Joe. You guys take care. Drew, bring us home, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, Joe, I've already been asked this, ironically, by people on social media about handicapping this game. Mm-hmm. And as you know, one's 32-0, the other one's 32-1. it's a neutral floor. They split, the last two meetings in the regular season, one winning by 17, the other winning by 18. So if you had to ask me, who you would slightly favor, I would probably say the Bucks by 1.5, just simply because they're undefeated. But that doesn't. The favorite in a betting line doesn't win the game every time, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Everybody knows the side I'm on and who I believe is going to win this game today. No question about it. I mean, I respect Hoover and Scott Ware and what they've done. It's been amazing. It's been a dynastic type run. But we'll see, what Huntsville can do today. It's as close to a pick 'em as you can get. I mean, these two teams have taken care of business. Huntsville's only loss was in the Huntsville City Classic in the semifinals by 1 point on a 3-point shot made with like 2 seconds left on the clock. Huntsville very easily could have won that game, but kudos out to Bob Jones and Coach Starkey and what they did that day. And I think Huntsville grew from it. So it's I guess you'd have to say Hoover, due to being undefeated, would be a very slight favorite. But again, I'll go to war with this Huntsville team any day of the week. They got the best chin I've ever seen, and my theme for this game today is no pain, and that's it's basically Drago from Rocky IV. Man, you got to keep punching. It's going to be a long game. There's going to be runs. There's going to be both teams are going to make plays. You can't get frustrated. You just got to keep playing, even with what happens with the officiating. You got to play through it. You got to figure it out. And this team is smart. This Crimson Panther team is well coached. They're deep. They're tough. And I think they're ready for this challenge today.
All right, let's keep it on the phone lines, 256-576-4977. Brandon, welcome in to Talking Ball, man. How's it going?
Well, I'm getting ready to load up to head Drew's way just here shortly.
All right, make sure you bring are you going to be the cut man? Like, is that what you're going down as? Because this way this is going, it's about to be a fight.
Well, I'm looking for whoever that was that told Steve Moulton they don't need homers down there, because I'd put a cup on his head.
I'm telling you. I mean, seriously. Yeah, if you don't know the story, and again, not naming names or anything, like we were trying to get in, and Moulton was trying to get in on the broadcast to do it for Huntsville, because he's been doing majority of the games all year, and the phone call was, guy tells him, we don't need no homers on the radio for this game. So yeah, let's just keep it at that. And if you know Steve, then that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah, I'd come up with a new title: 2 fists, 1 cup.
Yeah, don't Google that. Just let just so you know.
But I'm gonna head down there today. I know how big of a deal that is, and just for Drew's sake too, and I know he knows this. Spring Garden's finest daughter will be in attendance today as well. She said she could not miss that game. I guess I'm gonna link up with them. This game's drawing a lot of eyes. There's a lot of people come from a lot of directions to come see this game, including myself, even though I really don't know if I can afford the time, but we're going to make it happen one way or another. So, Drew, man, I hope this game's everything you ever wanted it to be. I'm glad y'all are having the crew come down there. And like you said, be the man. You got to beat the man. And I just got to say something about my girl, Ace Austin. I didn't say a whole lot yesterday because I could tell y'all were having a little bit of trouble. Dude, she gave you 30 on a 50 or 60% leg the other night, 30 and 14. Against the number 2 team in the state, defending 2A champion from last year.
Well, she's one of the toughest competitors that this state has ever produced, either on the boys or the girls side. I mean, the one thing I could tell when I met her in person, and we had the chance, Joe, to feature her when we went over there, when she signed with Alabama, we were invited by Spring Garden, is there's just something different about Ace Austin. There, you can just, there's a presence, there's a certain way she handles herself. And I knew she was banged up. I mean, I saw her get hurt. I was watching the game, the semifinal game against Winterboro, who, by the way, had won 27 games, only lost 2, and hadn't lost since December the 13th. She wouldn't come out of the game in that situation, and they won by 20. And there were people, doubting, Spring Garden's ability to beat Ida even before she got hurt. But I knew that she would take herself to a different place. She reminds me a lot of J.D. Gossett with the way she competes. She's like Riggs, and he is too, from Lethal Weapon. They're going to take themselves to a different place with a pain threshold. They're not going to be denied, and she wasn't going to be denied. I was not surprised that they beat Eider. Eider has an outstanding basketball team, but this team, there's a reason they beat Hazel Green, who is in the Final Four in 6A and trying to win 8 in a row, because they're made of something special. They have a very good coaching staff led by her father, Ricky Austin, and her mother, and then the others. They have a great support staff over there. This is a senior-laden group that's very special, led by an ultra-uber competitor in Ace Austin, and I'm not surprised that they won this basketball game. And Ricky probably wouldn't like me saying this, but they ain't going to be denied, son. They're going to Birmingham to burn it to the ground.
We'll make General Sherman's march look like a campfire. Now, Drew, tell me what you expect from Braden Rivers today.
Well, I think he's gonna put his hard hat on. He has all year. He's transformed himself into a junkyard dog. He's Huntsville High's Mohamed Diabate. He's going to be physical. He's going to throw his weight around. He's going to attack. And of course he still has the ability to step out and shoot the basketball. Thought he had a low-key, really great game against Vestavia, doing what he does, all the dirty work, and I think he'll do it today. He's going to have to. I mean, you're playing against Dwayne Brown, who's probably the front runner for Mr. Basketball in the state of Alabama, headed to Tennessee, one of the best bigs in all of the United States, not just Alabama. Tremendous basketball player, but it's going to have to be a group effort. Josh Bowman headed to Chattanooga. Big Evan Tom, sophomore, it's already been offered by UNA and Jack State. And then Rivers, they're going to have to, put their hard hats on and grab their lunch pails and go to work. And I expect Braden Rivers to play as hard as he can. And if Huntsville High can control the glass, limit turnovers and control the pace of this game, I firmly believe they can win a 63-58 type game.
All right. Thanks for that, Brandon. We appreciate it, bro. We got to continue on. We'll go to a break. We'll come back. We got more callers on hold. We're going to start getting to those as we continue. Lennie Acuff is going to be going at 8 a.m. Drew is down in Jacksonville. Scott and Steve are heading down to Jacksonville to cover the game. They'll be having it right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone starting at 10:45. When we continue, more of your calls on Talking Ball on this Thursday morning on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Had a no-injury wreck in the 100 block of Crimson Rose. That's off Old Highway 20. One with an injury on Mooresville Road in Limestone County at Bosick. Had a vehicle run off into the river there, or the creek. Was in the water. The driver was able to get out, though, and is okay. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships, March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Pjol is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandings.com. That's gunnerslandings.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Coming up at the top of the hour, Lennie Acuff, Lipscomb head coach, going to be joining us to talk a little bit about Lipscomb as they're getting ready to take on UNA. Drew is joining us on WZZN TV. You can see he is down in Jacksonville for, I should about said Alabama, but UAH is not even there either. And I'm getting to my team eventually. I'm starting and getting lower and lower. Huntsville and Hoover. There we go. That's what it was. Because what I wanted to start with, Drew, is I wanted to go by their national rankings, not their in-state rankings, because I know a lot of people are probably turning the radio on and going, why are they focusing so much on a basketball game? Yes, I get that it is also an Elite Eight matchup, but you're also talking about the number 21 and the number 6 team in the country. It's not about just, they're number 1 and 2 in the state. These are nationally ranked teams. And if this was Alabama and Auburn and these types of scenarios, we'd be talking about the exact same thing.
We would. And the stunning part is in the last AHSAA poll that they had before the playoffs, Joe, Huntsville High was 3rd in 7A. They ranked, a really good Central Phoenix City team. Huntsville beat them, with 2 late free throws from Caleb Harrison a year ago in the regular season. Did not play them this year, but Charles Burkett, who's won a state championship at Hoover and did a remarkable job there. He got Central Phoenix City to the Final Four last year. They lost in the semis to Hoover. But they've already advanced to the Final Four, along with Florence. Shout out to Dylan Burleson, their first ever Final Four trip. Fairhope, the Pirates have already advanced. But Central Phoenix City was ranked 2, and Huntsville, with a 32-1 record, ranked number 21 in the country, was ranked 3rd in 7A. So Huntsville is going to have to, if they want to win a state championship, they got to go through, the Hoover Bucks, who are ranked in the top 10, in most cases the top 5 in the country. To get to the Final Four. And then if you get there, you potentially have to go through another team in Central Phoenix City in the semis that's ranked in the top 60 in the country. So there's some great teams in the state of Alabama, no doubt about it. 7A is very top heavy. And certainly Huntsville had a war with Florence in the N2 hoops before winning that tournament. They played Florence in the semifinals and won, I believe, by 10 points. But Dylan Burleson's done a remarkable job. So it's going to be a great game today. It's great for basketball in our state, great for North Alabama, and we hope to have a packed house. And we're honored as Station 97.7 The Zone to be doing it. I mean, to have Steve Moulton and Scott Tyson, as I called them, the A-team, going to be there to do the game.
Absolutely. And we want to give Wolverine Dan his space because we want to give him enough time because I know he wants to ask about some stuff. But let's go to Don because we only got a couple of minutes and we want to give Dan more space on that. So 256-576-4977. Don, welcome into Talking Ball, man. How's it going?
What's up, Don?
Donnie. Don, okay, never mind. Dan, let's go with you, bro. Sorry about that, man.
Hello.
What's up,
Hello.
sir?
What's up, Dan?
Hello. This is Dan. Hi. How you doing?
Doing good, Dan. Dan, how you doing?
Doing good, bud.
Well, listen, Drew. For your sake, I hope you get the win tonight. I know it was a tough loss last night. I want to touch on that real quickly, and then I've got one more thing before I hang up. So where does that put Alabama now, as far as maybe a number 1 seed this year? Is it out the door, or is there still a chance?
Oh, they've still got a chance. They've got 5 games left. If they could find a way to go 4-1 down the stretch, I think they would still be a 1 seed. If they end up going 3-2, then I think it's probably going to be on the 2 line heading into Nashville. But they've still got a resume that's very, very good. And with all 5 teams they're playing, they're all ranked, so they're all going to be quad 1 games. And every win you get is going to enhance your resume. And again, they lost to the number 15 team in the country last night, who's 17-1 at home. So it wasn't a horrendous loss. It just was a bad performance, and they got to bounce back against Kentucky on Saturday at home.
So you're, if you do make the playoffs, what region will you be in? You know?
You don't know. You're talking about, is this Alabama or Huntsville?
Oh, Alabama. Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know that yet, Dan. You're playing for seed. Right now, Alabama would be a 1 seed. They would probably be maybe the number 1 seed in maybe the Midwest, because Auburn will be the South. They'll get that certainly, and Duke would probably get the East. But we'll see. I mean, it's hard to say, but I think either in the Midwest or the West would be where Alabama would be sent. But right now, they're a 1, but it's perilous. And if they could play their way down to a 2 or a 3, we'll see.
In my closing, I know, and I'll get off the phone real quick. In my closing, I don't know if you knew this, but NATO and my wife have something in common. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's about what he's going to say.
He has a math teacher at Romulus High School in Michigan, and my wife went to Romulus High School in Michigan.
Oh, very cool. That's a very cool tidbit there, Dan.
That's where she graduated. And I said to her, don't get any ideas. You're rooting for Alabama now. It's going to have to be still Michigan. And she said, no problem. I'll still root for Michigan. So I guess I'm safe there, Drew.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, but he did teach math at Romulus and built a great program over there.
All right.
Gentlemen, it's been great. Have a safe trip back and try to stay warm.
Thanks, Dan. Lennie Acuff coming up next on Talking Ball.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa Signature Card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
North Alabama has won 6 consecutive games and move up to first place in the Atlantic Sun. They are 20-8 overall, 12-3 in conference play. The Lions today, a 5.5-point underdog at Lipscomb, 147.5 the total at Allen Arena in Nashville. The Bisons coming off a 66-57 loss as a 3.5-point road favorite at Eastern Kentucky. Troy laying 15.5 at home at Louisiana at Trojan Arena today. Jacksonville State, 5.5-point home favorites at New Mexico State. Missouri 110, Alabama 98. Tigers with a 1.5 favorite, and Auburn wins but does not cover at Arkansas 67-60. For more, go to vsin.com.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Went to the bullpen as Scott Tyson and Steve Moulton are heading down 65 on this snowy morning to get ready for the number 21 and number 6 team in the country to go at it today in Jacksonville at Jack State. That is also where Drew DeArmond is, as you can see on WCZN TV, as we are getting ready for Hoover and Huntsville. Tip-off is scheduled to be around 10:45. We'll keep you updated through the blitz on when that is going to take place. But we had Alabama last night as well as Auburn. Alabama losing to Missouri. Auburn does pick up the win against Arkansas, but that's not the only basketball that's happening throughout even the state of Alabama, Drew, because we also have a big matchup for UNA this weekend where they're taking on a school and a head coach that I think a lot of people in the Tennessee Valley may know.
Well, I'm honored to call him my friend. He's one of the best college basketball coaches in the business. He's the greatest Gulf South Conference coach in history. He's a member of the UAH Athletic Hall of Fame. He's also a member of the Huntsville-Madison County Hall of Fame. Played point guard for my good friend Danny Petty at Johnson High School. He's a Huntsville native, but he's an outstanding basketball coach in his 6th year at the helm of the Lipscomb Bison. Hard to believe it's already been that many, but he's continually built their program into one of the most consistent in the A-Sun. He's got a chance to still win the regular season A-Sun championship and then go on a run in the A-Sun Conference tournament. And as Scott Tyson brought, when we talked to Tony Pjol this morning, the key is in that conference tournament, you get home court advantage. So if you're the higher seed, you host. And so there's a lot at stake tonight. On January the 23rd, they did drop a game at UNA. So this rematch inside Allen Arena is really, really key tonight. And we're honored to be joined this morning by the head coach of the Lipscomb Bison, Lennie Acuff, who has been kind enough to join us before this big game tonight, this very important A-Sun Conference game. Coach, it's great to have you back on in the city of Huntsville in your hometown. You're with Drew DeArmond and Joe Hunk. How are you this morning, sir?
Hey, good morning, guys. How's everybody?
We're good, Coach.
Good. Drew, I don't know if you slept last night, man. Today is the day.
Well, Coach, I think everybody's been able to tell I've been a little keyed up this morning. I actually did sleep very well, but this is a game that I've been looking forward to if both teams took care of business, and it's going to be great for our state, great for high school basketball. And I know you follow it very closely still, and you've recruited one of our players, J.D. Gossett. I know you're very excited about him, but really, really excited for the chance for Huntsville today to play against a great basketball team in the Hoover Bucks.
Yeah, I know you want to talk about our game a little bit, but I tell you, I hope everybody in Huntsville appreciates what high school basketball means to that city. We're going to get a dose of it tonight, when North Alabama comes in here and two incredible players, and Jakari Lane and Tay Fields are Lee high school kids. And, I think that what Christian's done at Huntsville is just really, it's something to see. And that, obviously Huntsville's home for me. We still own our home there. We're down there an awful lot. And we were thrilled to death to get J.D. Gossett. I coached their dad at UAH, and those little boys are coming to my camp. A lot of those kids that play on that team have been to camp forever. The state for families means a lot to me, and see Eli, the success he's had. There's so many kids on that team that I know, but that's one of the best high school teams I've ever seen come through Huntsville. And you can debate. When I was in high school many years ago, there were great teams, but I'm really pulling for them today. They play well. I actually texted with Christian this morning, just told him, hey, cut it loose, man. Enjoy it. Obviously, everybody wishes this game was in Birmingham next week, but you know what? It should be an incredible environment, and I think if they play well, they've got a good chance. I really do, and I'm looking forward to watching it. We were going to take our whole staff to go, but we got to came ourselves tonight. We might want to get back for that, so I didn't want to miss that. But we'll be watching. I texted with JD yesterday, and we're really excited about having JD. I think JD's going to be an awfully good player here.
Well, and Coach, you were mentioning JD and the fact that he's with you guys and going to be with you guys. When you were watching him and seeing him grow, and I've seen him grow throughout the season as well, doing some of the games. What were you seeing in him that you're just like, look, this guy right here, he is a future Lipscomb Bison?
Yeah, he just gets it. He affects winning in so many ways. If you watch him, he may be the best rebounding guard I've seen in a long time. Honestly, we're going to play against one tonight. Tay Fields, the kid that UNA has from Lee. He is just a monster on the glass, and Fields is averaging almost a double-double in our league. And I think JD has so many winning intangibles. I think what JD does is very underappreciated
he is an incredible passer. I think a lot of times they have such good ball movement on the team. It may not show up in assists, but like he gets them to an advantage, and he's a multiple position guy. And it just what a really, really nice young man that, we're thrilled to have him. And, in our world today, guys, things have changed so much. Joe, you wasn't there from the whole time at Huntsville, but we built our program in Huntsville with all high school kids. We mixed in a transfer every once in a while, but it's really hard to get a high school kid that's ready to play. And I do think JD has a chance to play for us next year. I really do. And there are not many freshmen that play in this league anymore.
And that's right, Coach. And I know you wanted to build a culture program at Lipscomb, and you've built one at UAH, and you did it with recruiting local high school kids, and you retained them in your program. Coach Pjol gave you a big time compliment since you came into the A-Sun that you've been able to retain your talent as well. And it's very tough in this day and age of the NIL and the transfer portal, especially if you have a good mid-major program. Players move around, but talk about how each and every year steadily you've been able to build this Lipscomb program and have the kind of culture that you wanted to achieve when you took the job.
Well, I think whether you're a player or a coach or as a person, I think the quality you look for is consistency. It's easy to be a flash in the pan. And a lot of times you can throw mud at the wall and it'll stick on 1 year. But I just think if you really double down on who you are and what you believe, I think your chances to be consistent will show up. And if we're fortunate enough to win another game, whether it be tonight or any of our games next week, this would be our third straight 20-win season. And there's not, and I mean, this, I'm just, please understand this is because of good players and administration that cares. There's not many mid-majors in the country that have won 20 games, 3 straight years in a row. And so we really have tried to be consistent. We were very fortunate, like Tony. Tony's, he's done an incredible job there, by the way. I have a ton of respect for what he's done there. And we both were able to keep some really key pieces. Guys, Jakari Lane, tonight in our game, you have Jakari Lane for us, Jacob Nakovich, Jakari Lane for them, Jacob Nakovich for us. And then there's a kid at Eastern Kentucky named Tate Blanton that we played the other night. Those 3 guys could play for anybody in the country. They're the 3 best players in the league. Now, they're all very different. Jakari's a 6-foot point guard that you can't get the ball out of his hands. Nakovich for us is a 6'8", really skilled inside-out guy. And Blanton is a big 6'6" wing. But those 3 guys are high level. And the other night we at Eastern Kentucky, they had their senior night. And Blanton was their one senior, and he's been there 5 years. And we were talking about it, standing over there watching. And I said, more than likely, there'll never be another kid that has done everything that kid 5 years in one place. We have one in Will Pruitt that's started for us for 5 years. And it's just so hard to do now. And it's just a different world, a different culture. And so I think consistency is really important. And I think, when you talk about North Alabama, first off, when I take North Alabama, I'm talking the whole North Alabama landscape. Drew, you know what basketball means in that area. I mean, it is so good. The coaching is so good. And it's just, I try to tell people, I know it's in Alabama, but man, you don't understand. That is a basketball part of the state. And I think so much of those coaches, that is where, one day when I'm done, we will live there, and I'll be going to every high school game I can go to because it's done the right way. But at the University of North Alabama, what he's done, Tony, is that when you play them guys, they line up, and you better be ready for a fight. And it's been that way since he's been there. I wasn't there their first year. I got here in his second year. But I'm telling you, they play so hard. They compete. They're really good on both ends of the floor. He does a great job of fitting his system to his talent. Like they are extremely difficult to play against. And, I think they're the best team in the league. North Alabama, Eastern Kentucky is the hottest team right now. Them in North Alabama. We've got a nice team. I really, really like our team. We did. You guys probably don't keep up with it, but we had a huge blow after our fourth game of the league. I thought we had the best center in the league. It was us, this kid we had, Dylan Faulkner, and Cornelius Williams for UNA. They were the two best 5 men in the league. And our kid broke his foot, and he's out for the year. And we're just not quite the same without him. Now, I love our team, and I've told our team that we got to figure it out. But we've continued to win, but it has been in a different way. Like this kid's 6'9", run. I mean, he allowed us to play above our level, and it's just really hurt us around the goal. And like tonight, what they do, they attack the offensive glass. I mean, Fields, he's like Dennis Rodman. He goes after every ball. And because of how they play, like Lane, he just gets her in the lane. He gets them in an advantage, and he shoots it. He shoots those floaters, and you can't block them out. And so they create some real challenges. But I'm real happy for Jakari and Tay. You know, I grew up in that part of town. I played at Johnson, and to see North Huntsville kids do well, and good for them. Good for those kids.
Coach, one of your players like Joe Anderson, I'm sitting and I'm thinking to myself, you just talked about the rebounding and getting to the boards. Well, that's if Joe even lets them get to the boards, because the man's like one of the top 20 players in the country and getting a turnover and getting steals. What is it about like his instinct? Like, what is he seeing to have like 60 steals so far this season?
Yeah, Joe Anderson he will remind you of some of the kids that played for me at Huntsville. I mean, he's a 6-foot, quick, fast twitch point guard. We do all these things, Joe, where we have all this, these people come in and we do mental tests and, personality tests and all this. He tested out at 99% at visual perception and instinct. And he sees it before it happens. I mean, he can really, really move his feet. And he's been a good player for us. But, the thing with Lane is, he played, I'll share this with you guys. He played against a friend of ours earlier in the year, and this guy has some NBA background, and he says, I think he's a pro. He said, we couldn't keep him out of the lane. He's obviously a pro at some level, but he's like, I'm not. He said, I'm telling you now, early in the year, they played at Auburn, and the first half of that game, the best player on the floor was Jakari Lane. Mm-hmm. Now, they made some adjustments in the second half, but, he's a well of a player now. And the thing he's done since he's been there, his level of improvement year to year, when he first got there, you could kind of gap him a little bit because he didn't really shoot it great. Now, I thought we did a good job on their place on him. He makes 3 step-back threes in the first half. He's shooting mid-30s from 3, and that's a real challenge for sure.
Well, and Coach, as far as your squad, as you said, you had to reconfigure due to the injury to your starting center early in the season. And then, of course, as you said, it was a tough loss over, CBNS Bank Arena over in Florence, 74-64. How have you seen your team grow, though? Because we know Allen Arena, I've been inside it. It's an outstanding facility. We know it's going to be a tough place to play. Tony Pjol was talking about that. But how have you seen your team improve? Because you always tell me, especially in a league like the A-Sun, it's about how healthy you are down the stretch and then how hot you can get. Eastern Kentucky is very hot right now, but you want to be in the mind space, and you want to be playing at your peak level to end this regular season and then go into conference tournament action.
Yeah, the thing that's unique about our league, guys, is that we're one of the few leagues in the country that doesn't play neutral site. Now, that's going to change next year. I don't agree with it. I like the way we do it. But this year, for the last year, high seed hosts. Mm-hmm. And so in the last 4 years, the team that's played at home has won the championship game. And I know you guys probably see some highlights and stuff on TV from North Alabama when they play at home. That's a monster to go in there and try to beat them. We have a little bit of a different set. Our building is really big. It seats 5,000. It's beautiful. And we draw really well, but no, we're not going to have 5,000 people. It'll be a good crowd and a good environment. But I think that you really want to do the best you can. Obviously both of us have a chance to win the championship regular season, which would get you a chance to play at home for 3 games. And it's a big deal, guys. It really is. And but we have a good team. Our kids have been great. The thing that's been unique about our team, at least going into the other night at Eastern Kentucky, we had the second most true road wins in the country. So I think we're built to win on the road. We've won 9 true road games, and I'm sure people listening, what about Alabama and Auburn and all that? I would like to say something about them before I get off. But you know, most of those teams don't play many road games in the non-conference. And if they do, a lot of times it's neutral court. So we've been good on the road, but I tell you what, I sure would much rather be playing here in Nashville. And you know, we start conference tournament actually starts a week Sunday. I mean, it's here a week, you know, on I guess March 2. And so, you know, we would love to be at home, but we're going to have to play awfully well tonight. And even if we get through tonight, we got 2 really difficult games next week. But, you know, we have a ton of respect for Coach Pjol and what he's done there. And it should be fun. You know, and that's what I shared with Christian. You know, you have to earn the right to play in big games. Everybody wants to play in big games, but you have to earn the right to play in them. And when you get the chance to play in them, you want to enjoy it. But what you don't want to do is outthink the room. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. It's really very simple. You need to do what you do better than they do it.
Well, and Coach, you said you wanted to mention something about Alabama and Auburn, because I know we only got you for a few more minutes. What was that?
Well, I just think what those 2 guys have done, what Bruce Pearl, and I know Nate had a tough loss last night, but what Alabama and Auburn have done is, I mean, they just elevated the basketball in the state. I do think Auburn's the best team in the country. You know, it's interesting. I don't know if you guys have talked about this, Drew. I'm sure you have. You know, the average age for the best team in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, is 24 years and 1 month. Do you know what the average age of the starting 5 at Auburn is? 23 years and 2 months.
Yep.
They are old. They are tough. They are good. And I really think they have a great chance to win the whole thing. And I think Alabama's got an awfully good team. But you look at the state of Alabama, and this, you know, and I mean, I live in Nashville, and we love it here, and we love Lipscomb, and they have been unbelievable to my family and I. But you look at the state of Alabama, you got the number 1 team in the country in Division II. You got Alabama's a top 5 team in the country. UNA is in first place going into the night, the A-Sun. Jacksonville State's winning Conference USA. Troy won last night, so they're in first place in the Sun Belt. Who else? I mean, South Alabama's in first place, then Troy. I mean, and UAB's having a good year. And then, you know, right there in your backyard, and I know you guys cover UH basketball. I mean, they may be the best team in Division II in the country. What a team they have. I mean, the team I had in 10-11 with Josh Majette and Zane Campbell and Jamie Smith and Xavier Ball and all those guys, I thought that team would be the best team ever. I mean, I guess they broke we won 20 in a row, I think, and those guys just blown that out of the water. I mean, so, man, what good for the state of Alabama.
Yeah, and not to mention Samford and Bucky McMillan. It's remarkable, and then Anthony Camara's doing a great job at Montevallo. Your son is there, and that they're getting a lot better. It's remarkable at every level how good the basketball is in the state of Alabama. You helped elevate it. Now Alabama and Auburn are doing so at the highest level. It's a fun time to be a fan. I'm certainly looking forward to Hoover and Huntsville High. I think it's going to be as high level a high school basketball game as you can see. But, Coach, we wish you nothing but the best and good luck tonight. And before you go, what's going to be 2 or 3 keys for the Lipscomb Bison to get this win over a really, really good UNA team?
Yeah, let me say this real quick. I will get a shameless plug in. Obviously, I'm really proud of Anthony and the job he's done at Montevallo. You know, Anthony worked for me for 7 years, and then I got a pretty vested interest there with Will, my son, on their staff. They're actually going to be ranked in the region for the first time in like 10 years. What a job he's done there. So thank you for mentioning that. But tonight it's real simple with them guys. It's the paint, the glass, and the free throw line. You got to somehow figure out a way to keep the ball in the paint as much as possible, which is a lot easier said than done. And then somehow you got to compete on the glass with them. They're averaging 14 offensive rebounds a game. I mean, they just annihilate the glass. And then the third thing they do, they get to the free throw line a ton. We're the third. We foul the third fewest times of anybody in Division I basketball, but you know, you got to keep them off the free throw line, and so those extra possessions kill you because they're so efficient. And so, you know, I don't know, it'll take our best. Obviously, I wish we had our whole team and we're at full strength, but we're looking forward to the opportunity. You know, it should be a really good basketball game, and then you know, then it segues in the conference tournament, which at this level is just cruel. I mean, it's a 1-bid league, and it's on for a week for sure.
Well, Coach, I before we let you go, I know that tonight is Giving Day over at Lipscomb. As part of this game right here, I know you have a guy that's working inside y'all's athletic program that I'm friends with, Mickey Ryan, and just wanted to have you tell him hello for me. He and I, communicate back and forth. Work together in Nashville, and I just wanted to say that I know he's doing an awesome thing for you guys, and you have a great guy with him.
Yeah, Mick's been a great addition. Had a radio show here forever, as you know, Joe. He's a good human being. Yeah, it's a big day on our campus, and it's really amazing. Our school, we have 3,000 students in undergrad, 5,000 total, and it just there's a real allegiance and loyalty to our school. It's really amazing the amount of money they raise in this one day, and so we're very thankful to be here. Thankful for the opportunity I've had to be the basketball coach here, and we'll see. But hey, I know Drew. I got to Christian figure out a way to score one more than them, right?
Yes, sir, no doubt. And we're looking forward to that game at 10:45, and we're looking forward to tonight in Allen Arena, Lipscomb Bison against UNA. Good luck to you, Coach, and we're so thankful for the relationship, and thank you for taking the time out to talk some Bison and some high school basketball in the state of Alabama and the state of the game. We always appreciate talking ball with you.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate your friendship. You have a great day.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Yeah, he was. Lennie was the head coach at UAH. I forgot how long he was at.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he rebuilt that program, man, completely.
Yeah, he was the head coach when I was there, and I mean, again, John just gave me these eyes of like, wow, really? That's how long ago? Yeah, no, he was the head coach at UAH when I was there. So that's how he's built the program. He's doing it at Lipscomb as well, and so it's cool to see. The game's going to be on ESPN Plus. You can watch it there. 7 p.m. Tip off, and if you are going to be heading up to Nashville for that game, it is going to be Giving Day for the Social Club Olympics as well. It's going to be taking place. So there's a lot of things happening on the campus as they get ready for UNA, and there's only 2 games left after this. They only have Austin Peay and Central Arkansas, and then they're in the conference tournament. It's crazy to see because we still have a couple of weeks left in the SEC tournaments. And
don't forget that Central Arkansas game to end the regular season, that's the UAH Bowl, because John Schulman, who followed Lennie Acuff there, is coaching at Central Arkansas against Lennie Acuff. That's going to be an unbelievable matchup. 2 great coaches and 2 great friends in 97.7 The Zone, and They call Lennie Acuff the GOAT of the Gulf South Conference for a reason. He's the all-time winningest coach, as I said at the start of our conversation with him, in the history of the league. And so he did everything but win the national championship at UAH. I think he had a couple teams that were good enough, but that's just the way the ball bounces. And hopefully the ball is going to bounce the way the Huntsville Crimson Panthers today, Joe. But you and John can take it from here. And I'm getting locked in, and I got to get stuff loaded on the bus and get ready to go to war here.
All right, Drew is going to get his beats on. He's about to throw the hoodie up over his head, and he's about to get on the bus as he's getting ready to go. We will continue talking ball. The phone calls are ready to roll. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977, as we continue it on Talking Ball on this Thursday on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We should be back to a clean slate now. Had several accidents, but they've all been cleared out of the way. You be careful. We got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an fighting organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Look, we've evolved. And every single thing that we talk about when we talk about, Ali Frazier, this is now what my generation says is that it is rockin' Austin. WrestleMania 17. That is exactly what Hoover and Huntsville will be this morning when they tip off at 10:45. And anybody that is of age to remember the promo from WrestleMania 17 in this song, this is what I even just sent it to John. Yeah. As we get going on Talking Ball, Drew is getting ready to head to the arena. Steve and Scott are heading to the arena right now to get ready. They're driving down to Jack State as all of us in North Alabama is focusing on Huntsville and Hoover. And yes, I just sent this to you because I know that you were born in 2000, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were born in 2000. And so this, I believe WrestleMania 17 happened a year before you were born, because I want to say it was 99
I believe
when it happened.
So, I mean, with The Rock and all of that, I knew it was around 1998, 99. So it's definitely a little bit before my time.
No, actually, you were alive. This was 2001.
Okay,
okay. You were 1 year old. You were you were up there in Rochester with Kay, with Craig McKay. That's what you were.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I was never huge into the wrestling scene. But at the same time, one of my best friends who's up in Knoxville right now, works for UT. He was humongous wrestling fan. I mean, he was that kid back in high school where you walk down the hallway, you look into the library, and he's just sitting in a dark room watching like the old WrestleManias. And I was just like, I guess I'll sit down and join him. But it doesn't mean I never watched it. I mean, it came up on the TV, but the lore, a little bit fuzzy for me.
It is. And that's where every single year, you always started to think like WrestleMania is like the Super Bowl. It's like the World Series. It's like the NBA final, like all this, like
Daytona 500.
No, this is afterwards is a start that's even better than Daytona 500. Mm-hmm. Don't make a NASCAR reference. You throw me off
every time. The speed
every time. But anytime Rock and Austin were ready to go one-on-one, it literally was you were either one side or the other.
Yeah.
You were one side. I mean, it was one of those two.
Yeah, and back then I would have honestly been all for The Rock, but obviously nowadays, with The Rock being in almost everything, owning a partnership within the UFL and all that stuff, he's a little bit too mainstream. Whereas Stone Cold, he was mainstream and he was huge. He was on top of the world, but it never seemed like he got to the point where The Rock is. And of course, he didn't do as many movies, but he did do that.
There's reasons.
2011. What was that movie that he was in with?
The Condemned.
No, it was something similar to that though. But he was like this badass biker dude.
He was in The Longest Yard as well.
Yeah.
He was in those. A lot of it though, the reason he didn't is because of the neck injuries. Like he had to have a lot of neck surgery.
Gotcha.
Like it really, like him even wrestling a couple of years ago in the main event of like night 1 of WrestleMania, people are going, "Oh my God, is he really doing this? Like, are you gonna be okay, bro?" Like it was, that was it. So, yes, you were one way or the other in this, and so I always, and I told you even off air,
Recoil was the movie.
Recoil.
I'm thinking about. Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
27% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There's probably a reason with that now, is because now I'm actually want to look it up and see what his IMDb is and all the movies that he has been in.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I know The Longest Yard, that was the biggest one for him.
Danny Trejo was in that one as well, so you know exactly what you're getting out of it. By the way,
yes,
it was a hardcore biker action flick. It was wonderful. But I mean, we're talking in comparison, of course, to tonight's matchup between Hoover and the Huntsville Panthers.
And I say this because if I were somebody that was driving around, Alabama and Auburn has just played their games the previous night.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama loses to Missouri. They didn't play great, especially, and it's a little bit worse after losing to Auburn.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about that during the Blitz.
And we absolutely will. But if I was driving around and going, why are these guys on 97.7 focusing so much on Huntsville and Hoover? Like, this is an Elite 8 game. This isn't even the state championship.
Yeah.
Why are you focusing on this? This is the top 25 teams in the country. Okay. Like that's the key to this. All right. It's not just that it's 1 versus 2. If it's 1 versus 2, that would be cool.
Yeah.
It's the fact that one team is ranked number 21 in the country out of all of the high schools in the entire universe. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then you have the number 6 team in the country out of all of the other country, all the other high schools in this entire country as well, playing against each other in Jacksonville State for an opportunity to go to Birmingham and the Final 48. This is massive because when you look at the top 25 programs in the country, you are talking about like your IMG academies. You're talking about these programs that people, if this was football, it'd be like Allen High School in Texas. Like you're talking about the most elite of elite teams in the country just to be ranked in the top 25.
Yeah. 66 games between both of these teams throughout the season, only 1 loss, and that came from the Huntsville City Classic for Huntsville to Bob Jones, and that was a great game.
And it was shocking.
And it was shocking because that is always held at Huntsville. And but regardless, that was earlier on in the season. You look now to what we're getting into. This is going to be at Jack State. All of our crew is pretty much there, and they're getting ready for it. And the Blitz is literally going to go into this game with Steve Moulton on the call with Scott Theisen. And it's one of those things that I feel like more people in North Alabama are actually focusing on than you would think. If you are just a casual, NBA fan or college basketball fan, this is where it starts, is the high school level.
And the biggest thing is especially with Huntsville, like I've got like the Max Preps top 25 high school rankings, and in front of Hoover are teams like Columbus out of like Miami, who has an entire roster made up of players that are playing like D1. Yeah. You've got Allen, Texas is actually one of the top 9 teams in the country. And with Huntsville, 4 of the 5 players at the moment are going to play Division I basketball and have an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament. I still think that the one that is going to Lee and Eli, I still think that at some point in time, he's going to transfer to a D1 school. Like he is that good and he's just got to continue to grow in this. So that's the reason why this is such a big story, because of how highly ranked these two high school teams are, and they're meeting in this tournament. And look, sometimes they don't even get to meet because of the way one's in 6A and one being 7A. No, this is a massive matchup that, quite frankly, I know that Alabama played last night in Missouri, and I know that Auburn played, but it wouldn't surprise me if at some point in time you're seeing video of both Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl down at Jack State today.
Yeah, no doubt
because
about
of this
that.
game.
Yeah, and although these teams haven't met too often, there are a few teams that kind of have that played both Huntsville and Hoover as well. One of those teams could be Albertville, who you just saw in that 17th game, the day of the 17th. 70-36 was the score in that one. Huntsville getting the win, of course, to advance to this matchup. Before that, Vestavia Hills, where, I mean, Vestavia Hills has had a wonderful season, but it's just like the bane of their existence is that Hoover Bucks team.
In every sport.
Exactly.
In every single sport.
And they had to meet them multiple times. And of course, I mean, they're not going to be up to snuff to a team like Hoover, but maybe Huntsville is going to be that team, because when you look at the similarities between Huntsville facing off against Vestavia as well as Hoover facing off against Vestavia, it is always around that 70 to 50 or 70 to 40 mark. And both teams kind of match that exact same pace.
All right, phone lines are open to you, 256-576-4977. We don't normally start that till 9 o'clock.
I'm itching, man.
It's kind of like a pre-show right now, too. The blitz
Really
is going. But Alabama and Auburn did play a little bit, played last night. We'll talk more about that as we continue, because if you are an Alabama fan, I know that you're asking yourself, what the heck is going on right now?
Well,
lose to no. We're going to break. Take a second. We're going to get all into this when we come back, as we continue talking ball, as Drew and Scott and Steve and everybody else that is paying attention to this is heading directly to Jack State.
You just wanted to get the break out of the way.
It's ground zero.
Okay.
Is what it is. Also, I'm not 100% sure, because these shows are different when going to break than what ours is. So I'm just going to break right now because I think I'm supposed to. We'll continue. We come back on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Going to be cold across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 20s. We're dropping into the mid-teens as we head into the overnight early Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. We're going to see a little bit of improvement across the Tennessee Valley, but it is still going to be cold. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 30s, dropping into the low and mid 20s as we head into Saturday morning. A partly sunny sky Saturday afternoon. Still going to be below average across the Tennessee Valley, but continued improvement. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We should be back to a clean slate now. Had several accidents, but they've all been cleared out of the way. You be careful. We got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Tellurides, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you paint your body, your car, and your dog your school colors? Maybe. But it means more than that. It means your alumni network includes the state, the country, and beyond. It means your school ring doubles as your resume. And yeah, you better believe it means more titles, like doctor, CEO, and your honor. Because this is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be part of the Southeastern Conference? That yours is the only conference with its own chant? Well, yes, but it means more than that. It means a study abroad program that might include reforestation in a mangrove swamp in Australia. It means finding your calling, your future spouse, your startup's co-founders, and of course, grilling tongs that play your fight song. This is the SEC, and here, it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course, but it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC, and here it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
We are your home for March Madness.
In the corner, James, right corner three. Got it. Oh, it's a Tennessee blitz. The Volunteers dominating the Creighton Blue Jays in the second half.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Phone lines open 256-576-4977. And I'm sitting here and thinking to myself about this because it just clicked with me because it is 8:43 right now, and there are a lot of families that are on the same schedule that my household is right now because Madison County schools are opening up 2 hours later than what they normally would. So I'm sitting and thinking to myself, like, man, the drive in today was actually pretty easy. There weren't that many cars out, and I now know the reason why for that. So rush hour is going to be a little bit different for a lot of parents that are having to wait kind of the 2 hours to get their kids to school. So just as you're listening right now, phone lines are going to be open throughout the blitz. So, I know your normal routine is kind of thrown off. Ours is thrown off as well. Any parent that had to be off of work yesterday because their kids were at home, I get it. And so it made me laugh just now because I thought about it because I looked down at the clock and I went, oh, my son's still sitting at the house. Like, it's still 45 minutes before he even needs to go to school. Like, he hasn't even thought about having to go to school just yet. Like, he's probably still hanging out watching the new episodes of Spider-Man that just dropped last night. Like, that's all he's doing. And so, yeah, I understand. And Brandon even sends it and he asked the question, which is a good one. If you have a portable FM radio that you can use inside Jack State, are you going to be able to hear Moulton and Scott on 97.7. You're not going to be able to if you have an FM radio, but you do want to make sure that you download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app because it is going to be going over the airwaves today, so you'll be able to hear it once the game tips off as well. It'll be obviously a little bit of a delay, but if you're wanting to listen to that, you absolutely can. Now, all of this is happening, and at the exact same time, you had Alabama last night losing to Missouri 110-98. And when I was talking to John in between the break, I said, hey, man, can you grab this part of Nate Oates' press conference last night? Because I thought it was really interesting. And he goes, hey, how about this? How about we just play the entire press conference? I'm like, what are you talking about? That's 10, 15 minutes long. He goes, no, it was only about 2.5 minutes. And here's the reason why. Here's Nate Oates after the loss.
Defensive games, you got to give them a bunch of credit. They came out ready to go. They started out 12-zip, scored 18 before the first media. Getting our guys ready to go is part of my job as head coach, and doing a good job of it tonight. So we didn't start the game out well, and then we didn't guard. Shoot, give up 110 points. I think we gave them 1.39 today on our defensive end. That's a pretty elite offense. We gave them 21 points off turnovers. They're top 5 in the country in steal percentage. And gave them 12 steals. They scored off them. We do a great job prepping our guys for their pressure, and they do a good job at it. But you kind of look at some effort stuff. I mean, Caleb Grill ends up with 25 points, but he had 10 rebounds. I mean, he had more rebounds than nobody had more rebounds than him on our team. You know, Diabate is the only guy that had. You know, Diabate had 10. Nobody else had more than 4. So for our entire front court to, you know, have 3 and 2, Jaron at 4 for their guard out rebound isn't that bad. I just think they wanted this game a little bit more tonight, which is a little bit disappointing because we still had a lot riding on this game. I mean, we were still in full control of our own destiny with the league championship. You know, had we won out, we no longer are. And Missouri deserves a lot of credit for it. So they had a good team. I mean, they've been winning a lot of big games. They're shooting 17-1, I believe, at home now. And crowd was into it. Obviously, we helped with that, giving up the 12-0 run, but they got the crowd into it. They even when we cut it to 6 with about 10 to go there, you know, perfect. And press conference over, I guess, right? Somebody pulled the fire alarm. Is that where you got going? Yeah, they were on fire tonight. That's for sure. We know that for about 2 hours. We else just figured it out. What do we just keep going, or do we have to get out? Who's in charge? Sorry, they were great. We weren't very good. Thanks, Coach.
Sorry, they were great. We weren't great. I love that. Like, how bad is that? Not only are you sitting there and everybody is done in the locker room, they're ready to leave, and then the fire alarm goes off at the exact same times because a fire was reported. Come on. Like, how bad is your night? Not only did you go there and you didn't play well, you've angered everybody, and everybody's mad because of this, because especially back in the state of Alabama, as Alabama fans were getting ready to watch this. And I think that part of this goes back to the way that Missouri's been in basketball for like the last decade since they got into the league. Like, people forget, when Missouri came into the conference, we were the most excited about basketball because at the time, that's when basketball sucked in the SEC. You had 2 good teams in Kentucky and Florida, and you thought, hey, Missouri's coming in. They're going to be a good basketball team. It will help us improve when it comes to basketball. And it's been over a decade since the team was any good. And now they're one of the top 15 teams in the country. And look, I'm not going to sit and say what I know what their seeding is going to be in the tournament, because a lot of variables can go into this as the reason why you may move up and move down. But a lot of times I just do basic math. 1 through 4 is going to most likely be a 1 seed. 5 through 8 is most likely going to be a 2 seed. Then you just keep working your way down. So you just lost, and Alabama lost to a team that is going to be a top 5 seed at the least going into the NCAA tournament if they continue to play the way that they are. That's not a bad thing to lose to. It sucks because of what just happened on Saturday. Yeah, that isn't good. It sucks because you lost on the road. It sucks because now you're on a 2-game losing streak. You were being talked about as why, you were the number 1 team in the nation in the coaches poll, and now you've lost both the games this week. So you're going to be dropping, after all the stuff that's happening, even depending on what you do on Saturday. Yeah, it sucks. But you're also still 2 or 3 weeks away from being able to do anything when it comes to the SEC tournament and or get ready for this. I would much rather my team have a lull right now and get everything figured out what they need to get figured out prior to the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament than to go into those on a 2 or 3 game losing streak and still trying to figure out who and what you are and making adjustments before the tournament starts.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. The only tough thing is for Alabama right now is you're wondering, when's this team going to get it right? When are they going to get back on track? And it's kind of hard to look and see ahead because you see Kentucky next, and you're at Coleman Coliseum. This is good. This is a good little opportunity. You already beat them earlier in the season. Maybe you can re-up again. But at the same time, you got to get back on track. You got to get back to what you're good at. And right now, Alabama hasn't been good at what they're good at, and that's shooting the threes. I mean, last night definitely didn't show as that's all they could really do because they got behind so fast in that one. But then you got Mississippi State, who just beat Texas A&M, which is again, top 20 team. A team that was actually top 10 at the time as well. Tennessee, at Tennessee. Then you have Florida. Then you finish off against Auburn. I mean, when are you going to be able to get it right?
It's the SEC now. Like, look,
it's not even just the SEC. This is because we've seen a little bit of the separation. Now it's to the point where this is the upper echelon, not just of the SEC, but of college basketball.
I know that we focused on Alabama because if they've lost, it's not like Arkansas is playing bad. Like that Auburn game last night with Arkansas, that was a close game. And Arkansas kept shooting themselves in the foot and then getting dumb texts because of when you would make good plays. Like their center decides, oh, hey, I denied you, and now I'm just going to stand over you and taunt, which, look, personally, sidebar on that, I don't think that should be a technical foul. I think you should be able to do that, especially if you send it 3 rows into Neville Arena. You should be able to do that. I look, I'm all for it, which, again,
you're a wrestling fan, so.
I'm wrestling, and I'm sitting here right now, and I'm also counting down the minutes until hockey happens tonight between USA and Canada.
Where it is allowed to fight.
It's totally allowed to fight. Like, I am all for this. Like, the biggest thing that you need to stop doing, how about you stop turning the basketball over? Just stop. I mean, that is it. Aiden Holloway had 4 turnovers. Even though Mark Sears scored 35, he had 4 turnovers. I don't even know Missouri had 8 turnovers, period. And those 2 guys had 8 turnovers combined.
Yeah, it seemed like Missouri just could not go wrong on offense. And that was just it was showing, the cracks that are within this Alabama team. And that's on defense mainly. I mean, you see this offense get rolling. But again, if the defense goes downhill, especially early in this one, and they're trailing and they got to try and catch up the entire way through, you're going to see a lot of 3-point shots. You're going to see a lot of turnovers from missed attempts and from this team trying to get back on pace with a fast Missouri team, and that just was not the case last night. And you're right. There were a lot of turnovers. There were also a lot of fouls. Alabama did not do a good job in trying to, lessen that because it ended up at 30 at the end of the night. And, of course, a lot of that did come from those last few minutes. But regardless, you never want to see a 3 in front of your fouls.
No, and I was looking at this while you were talking because I was very curious about the way the tournament's going to be this year because especially the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have, 14 versus 11 and those types of games. So the brackets are just a little bit different than what they normally are.
First time with Texas and Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma. And right now I'm counting backwards because it is South Carolina would be the 16th seed if the tournament happened today. LSU would be 15, Oklahoma would be 14, and Arkansas would be 13. Now, the reason I bring up the Arkansas one is because in the bracket, the 13 seed is going to be playing the 12 seed in this, which would mean that they're playing Georgia. Okay, now, the reason I say this is because that Arkansas team is getting better.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't like they're still making dumb mistakes, which is costing them. It cost them last night against Auburn, but they have an opportunity to not only beat Georgia if that was what the matchup was going to be, but then they would have to take on the 5 seed, which would be Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that would go on to play at the moment the 4 seed, which is Missouri. Arkansas, in the way that team played against Auburn last night, the way that they've played the last few weeks, the way that they came back against Alabama, I promise you, they are going to upset somebody in the SEC tournament.
No doubt.
They are going to, they are that good because they are a thorn in the side. And if it clicks, they could even make a run in the SEC tournament themselves and possibly even get to Saturday or, at least Friday and taking on and playing in the quarterfinals, which up at the time, if they were the 13 seed, they'd be playing the 4 seed. Missouri, on the other hand, is a 4 seed. they have the potential of moving up, especially now that they do own a tiebreaker against Alabama, where they could potentially be a 3 seed or, depending on what happens, a 2 seed.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot that can still happen in the SEC standings, which is crazy because we just talked to Lennie Acuff, who they only have 3 games left. They play UNA tonight. They then have Austin P, and then they play Central Arkansas, and they're in the ASUN tournament.
Yeah. Be thankful of the college basketball that you got left, because it might seem like a lot with March Madness even still on the horizon, but it will be over before we know it, Joe. And then it will be full swing, literally, baseball season, baby. And you can listen to every single Alabama game, well, when it gets into SEC play, on our network, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe, we're not done here.
It's good to see you, John.
Yeah.
It's a fun show.
We're not done. We still got another hour and a half, and this kind of rounded it out. But, of course, had to hop in early as Steve, Scott, and Drew over in Jax State getting ready for that Hoover versus Huntsville game that you will be able to hear on our app. For me and Joe, we'll be right back here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556.